If you've looked into solar or battery storage for your home in 2026, you've probably come across this term prepaid solar. Now, this is an option that's becoming more widely available and increasingly popular because it often provides the best overall savings outlay for homeowners now that we can't directly claim a 30% solar tax credit from the federal government. But prepaid solar takes a little getting used to. It's not quite as straightforward as that direct ownership model. So today we're going to talk about three things. Why is prepaid solar becoming more popular? How does prepaid solar work? And how is prepaid solar different from those traditional leases and PPAs that have been around forever and are still around today? But let's just start with a little story called the Tale of Two Tax Credits. Now in 2025, there were two different tax credits for installing solar in the US. One could only be claimed by homeowners and one could only be claimed by businesses. Well, legislation was passed in 2025 that changed this landscape. The homeowner claim tax credit was terminated, and it's gone since the end of 2025. But that business claim tax credit was left in place for systems installed before the end of 2027. And that brings us to today. Prepaid third-party owned solar, or TPO solar, is just a way for homeowners to partner up with a business, a third-party system owner, who can still claim a federal tax credit for installing solar. And they can apply some of the value of that tax credit as an upfront discount for your cost of going solar. So how does prepaid solar work? What does this look like to do as a homeowner? Well, it's important to distinguish right off the bat that in prepaid solar, you're not directly buying panels and labor and equipment. You are prepaying for 20 to 25 years of electricity service from that system owner. And it starts with an upfront cost, let's say $30,000. And since that prepaid provider knows they can claim a federal tax credit with some adders to it and depreciate that asset, they can take some of the value of that tax credit and apply it as a discount, typically 30%. So now that $30,000 upfront cost is reduced to $21,000. And as a homeowner, you have a decision to make here. You can pay for that TPO cost upfront out of pocket, typically in 3 installments as the project's being developed. Or you can work with a lender to take out a loan and pay off that cost over several years on monthly payments. Now, of course, there's financing costs associated with taking out a loan, but your solar costs are typically lower than what your average electricity bill is. So you can think of this as day one savings, where you're investing in your home instead of continuing to rent power from your utility. And whether you choose to pay upfront out of pocket or finance that TPO amount really depends on your goals. Are you looking for the greatest return on investment and long-term savings from the system? Or are you looking to save immediately by having a lower monthly payment as soon as that system is activated? Now, the biggest thing to know about prepaid solar is that the provider, that business, needs to own the system for a full 5 years after claiming the tax credit in order to fully capture and monetize it. This is a tax code requirement. But when your system is around 6 years old and that tax credit is captured, you as the homeowner have your first opportunity to buy out the system and become the owner for yourself. And this is really where prepaid solar looks a lot different from those traditional leases and PPAs, because in prepaid solar, you prepaid for 20 to 25 years of electricity service. So if you decide to buy out the system, the equation looks like this. There's a fair market value for the depreciated equipment on your roof that's been in operation for 6 years, minus the remaining years of unrendered service that the provider won't have to provide if you take ownership of it. And more often than not, these two figures cancel each other out, and you're able to buy the system out at $0 or a small nominal fee. And that's drastically different than a traditional lease or PPA, where you've just paid monthly to the provider up to that 6-year period. And if you choose to buy it out, the equation is just a fair market value on that equipment, and there's nothing on the other side to balance it out. You haven't prepaid for anything. In both cases, the choice is yours as to whether or not you want to transfer ownership of the system after that tax credit hold period. And if you choose not to exercise your buyout option, the third-party owner is obligated to maintain and operate that system throughout its contracted life. And there's benefits to this. If you're a person who just wants the peace of mind of someone else maintaining the system, or in the rare instance where there's a defect in one of the components. So in some ways, this prepaid TPO model is even better than the original tax credit model because at least for 6 years, you have someone else guaranteeing the performance of that solar array. So to wrap this thing up, prepaid solar is a great option for many homeowners where it's available. It allows you to partner up with a business to benefit from that last remaining federal tax credit. It also lets you sort of test run your solar system while the business owns it. And at year 6, you can decide to take ownership of the system, or you can leave it in the hands of the third-party owner. And of course, it's important to remember that that last remaining federal tax credit only applies to systems installed before the end of 2027. So if you're interested in lowering your electricity costs with solar and think prepaid might be a good fit for you, our advice is to start weighing your options now. And of course, I recommend starting at solar.com because we have a truly wonderful team of energy advisors who can show you your options, give you unbiased advice, and help you make the best decision for your home.